Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic all the way from the Gold Coast. I am so excited this morning here. It's morning here in Australia. It's just gone past sunrise. It's 8 a.m. here on the lovely sunny Gold Coast. And it's absolutely fantastic to have this brand new time slot because this enables us to welcome some new viewers from over the pond a bit, welcome the people from Ireland, England, and all of Northern Europe, which is absolutely fantastic. And, of course, we love our viewers from the USA and Australia and New Zealand. So we're really getting a great following here on this show. So, look, I'm really excited to sort of say welcome to everybody. If it's your first time with us, welcome. We have loads of fun on my show every Tuesday afternoon now, 5 p.m. out of the US and 8 a.m. here in Australia, which is absolutely fantastic. So to kick the show off this morning, we're going to actually talk about, or this afternoon in the US, we're going to actually talk about the Simply Tarot card of the week. Now, the Simply Tarot card of the week this week is the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is money improvements. Now, there isn't a person on the planet that I don't think that wouldn't like a little bit more money coming your way. So it's a time, I think, to really start to think big, to sort of step out of your comfort zone a little bit, and let's try and get some extra cash in the bank balance before the end of the year, because we all know it's heading into a very expensive time of the year where we all seem to spend more than we make, and it's just part of the fun of us heading towards the festive holiday season. And it's actually my favourite time of the year is the holiday season, so I get excited from about Halloween onwards. It's sort of my time of the year where I really like to sparkle. So we also look at a few other things before we take a couple of calls on this show. For those of you that are brand new to the show, just bear with me because we have some regular segments that we feature every week. And one of those is a glimpse around the universe, where I actually look at what's actually happening in astrology-wise that could be affecting each and every one of us. Now, I really want to sort of talk about the show's flavour today will be Scorpio, because we've got the new moon in Scorpio that we'll talk about in a little bit, in a minute or so. But I want to talk about the final days of the remainder of this month of the planet Jupiter that has been in Scorpio for just on nearly 12 months. Jupiter sits in a sign for approximately 12 months, is getting ready, gearing up to go into Sagittarius, and I'm going to do the happy dance then being a Sag. I'm really excited to have Jupiter coming back into my own sign because it only comes around once every 12 months. For those of you that are Scorpios, Cancers, or Pisces, this is sort of like the final sort of step here where Jupiter is sort of bringing opportunities into your life. Jupiter is bringing the opportunity to expand your life out in a way that you might want to. So it's not always about expanding the bank balance. It can be creative ideas. It can be new opportunities. It can be just really setting yourself free from things that have been troubling you or bothering you or been hanging around in your life. So if you look back over the last 11 months, there's probably been some golden opportunities that have come towards you. Now when the energy is coming to a close, it's when the intensity gets really, really strong. So it's the time to tidy up those loose ends, to make anything that you've been wanting to bring into your life, make it happen now. We've only got weeks to go. For the rest of the other 9 signs, it just means it's a time now where we're going to sort of slow down. We're going to start to look at the projects that we may have started. It may be time now for us to get sort of things down on paper, get things ready for when it actually launches into Sagittarius. And I will talk about that on the show the moment Jupiter goes into Sag, and explain to you how that's going to benefit each and every one of us. So it's a time to sort of slow down a little bit for the other 9 signs, start to make your plans, look at what you've already got in motion, look at whether there's anything there that needs to be sorted out, brought to the light, have a conversation about, and ready to make changes with that, and ready to sort of really give it an almighty push towards the end of this month. So we're now going to talk about the new moon in Scorpio. Now, every approximately 28 days, the moon is new, and this month it's in actual Scorpio because the new moon is always in the same star sign as the sun is. So that's how we know when the moon is new, what sign is it in. So the new moon in Scorpio is quite an intense new moon. Now, anything new to me is we're starting brand new opportunities. But I always try and teach people we need to release anything that's been bogging us down or weighing us down, or things that we feel that we no longer need in our lives. So if I can teach you to work with a new moon in that way, yes, we're looking to attract new and exciting and different opportunities into our lives, but just have a quick quick look around and see if there's anything that we need to let go of first off on an emotional front. Now, anytime we deal with anything on a Scorpio level, we are dealing with very, very intense emotional energies. Now, if you want to look at it in this way, it is a water sign. And when you look at Scorpio as it being in a water sign, it's like a block of ice. It's dense, it's frozen, it's solid, it's hard. It can thaw a little bit and then it refreezes. It can thaw a little bit and then it refreezes. So the Scorpio energy is always asking us to bring things from out of the darkness into the light. And sometimes this is easier said than done because our emotions, our very deep, intense emotional energies get caught up in all of this. And sometimes we can find that we feel a little bit off color, or we feel a little bit sad, or it brings up emotions that we thought we dealt with, and all of a sudden we don't understand why we're feeling a little bit melancholy or a little bit teary. This is all part of the new moon energy. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It can be extremely positive as well, because it means we've got the determination, we've got the ability to be able to tap into our intuitive selves, or our psychic ability, or our gut feeling, whatever label you'd like to put on it, and really work with that energy and say, right, this is my hunch. This is what my feeling's telling me to do. I'm going to go for it. And you go for it with such determination that you make it happen, because your power of your positive thoughts will that or draw that towards you. So for those of you that are new to the show, you won't have seen these before. I like to work with candles. I'm a big candle expert. These are my candles from my own range. This is the new moon candle. Now, how I like to work with a candle is this. I work with every moon cycle is on a 7-day cycle. So 2 days on the approach, 3 days of the moon cycle, and 2 days on the descending. So it's the 9th of the month, wherever you are in the world, is the actual start of the new moon. So we would be looking at from the 7th, starting to write things down on your little list. So I like to work in threes, a minimum of 3. If there's 3 things that you want to release out of your life or let go of, or situations that you think that I can happily let go of, and it might just be I'm no longer going to hold anger towards my sister that I had an argument with. I'm going to let that go. You know, we're heading into the holiday season and I want everything to be special with the family. So that could be something. So you write down your 3 things that you want to release, and then you add a minimum of 3 things that you want to draw towards you. And for some people that may be a new job, it might be a new relationship, it might just be I want peace of mind, that, you know, I want to be able to deal with my life in a stress-free sort of fashion. So this is the new moon. So the new moon candles, this one's an extra large. You'll see that they have 2 wicks. Now, I like to burn one side one day and one side the next day, because it's more economical that way. You'll get up to about 50 hours burn time out of our extra large candles. If you burn the 2 wicks, if you burn the alternate wicks, you can get up to about 100 hours. So that makes it a lot more practical. So this is our water sign candle. So this is our Scorpio candle. So the same sort of principles apply. Write an identical list for that, so that you're working with. This is the water sign candle, so it goes for Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. So you only need 1 water sign candle, you don't need 3. Same principles apply, the 2 wick situation. Write your message, write what you want to release and what you want to attract to yourself. Pop that on a piece of paper, popping that on a coaster. So write your list out, pop it underneath the candle on a coaster, never directly on the furniture, light it, but reading out aloud your intentions or the things that are on your list. That is most important. So you burn the candle for approximately 15 minutes to 2 hours a day. So for those of you that say to me, Amanda, I don't have room for something like that, I want to take it to work, or I have a very confined area, these are our travel candles. This is in a box, a gift box set. I've made this one up of 2 water sign and 1 new moon, but you can choose any candle that you'd like to put in your travel kit. We have 27 candles in our range, so it gives you a wide variety from everything from love, wealth, you name it, we have it. So it covers everything. Same principles apply. Write your list out, pop it underneath the candle, and just light your candle 15 minutes to 2 hours a day, and that will work perfectly fine. Now, for those of you that don't want to work with the flame, you can pick these up. I pick these up at my local supermarket for about $15 here in Australia. They're called a melt warmer or a wax warmer or a tart warmer. This one's electric, has a little button on the side, so I can turn that on and turn it off. Same principles apply. Write your list out, read it out loud, pop it underneath your melt warmer, pop that onto a coaster so that you're always never putting anything directly on the furniture. And then you can safely leave that going in your home or in your office while you are at work, and then just turning it off as you go to leave. So that's a much safer option. So please, when you're working with candles, never leave them unattended. Always babysit them, keep them away from drafts, open windows, air conditioners, children and pets. So that just gives you a little bit of a guideline of how we actually work with the new moon and the water sign candle for the new moon cycle this year in Scorpio. So we're now going to move on to our astrology feature. Each week I feature some special little mini astrology lesson, and I'm pleased to announce that we're going to be starting a brand new series this week where we're going to work our way around the zodiac, and we're going to actually look at famous actors. So we're kicking it the season off with a famous male Aries actor, and he's one of my favourite, and I'm sure just about everybody watching and listening today will know this person. He won't really need any great introduction. Marlon Brando. Now, Marlon Brando is an amazing actor. He's been around a very, very, very long time, won numerous Academy Awards. He's known for his determination, but he's also known for his ability to use his star power qualities to put his name to things that are really important. He's known as very much an activist in the world, where he gets his name into causes that he believes that are really important to him and that need the focus and the media attention. Now, a couple of his really important films that I picked out of these many, many, many films he's made over the last 40, 50 years, one was Waterfront. So anybody that's ever seen that movie, it was about the trade union movement in America. It was based on a true story. It was one of the most powerful movies I've ever seen. And I know I went back and watched it again recently because I believe that there's still messages in that movie that are very, very relevant to today's world. And I think sometimes we can learn from history and learn to see where maybe the future might be going with some of our politicians and the way people think. The other one that sort of was so famous around the world, and I can remember watching this when I was a very young woman, and I can remember thinking, my goodness, it was the first time I'd ever been to the movies, and there was a movie with writing on the screen. You know, they were speaking in another language, and I had to keep reading it out to my stepmom who was with me who didn't have her glasses, and that was The Godfather. And that was a movie that I think just about every person on the planet's seen. And, you know, it was very controversial in its time. I know here in Australia there was a lot of movie theatres that actually banned the movie, and I think that made people want to go all the more. But it was a very controversial movie for its time, and again, very factual from what I understand of it. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at the little bit of astrology that we're going to be working with. So Marlon Brando is a male. He is an Aries, so he's very much about being fiery, outspoken, being very determined about the messages that he wants to share with everybody. So we're going to take our first caller, and it's Amanda in Eutoxia in England. I'm sure I've pronounced that wrong, Amanda, and I do apologise. Are you there, sweetie? How can I help you?
I'm good, thank you. I want to know about my relationship, really, where it's going.
Right. Okay. Can you share with me the initial of the person that you're in the relationship with, please, sweetie? The first initial?
R.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Look, I still feel that there's some changes there to come up with this relationship. I just don't know that the two of you are on the same page at the moment. Has there been a difficulty with sort of getting your message across about how you're feeling and sort of wanting to unravel where this relationship should be going, or what's the next step? Is that where you feel stuck at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't think he's deliberately not wanting to communicate with you. I just don't think he knows how. You know, some people are good at talking about their feelings, and other people it's absolutely they'd rather go to the dentist. And I think I'd put him in that sort of category. But the other thing that I'm picking up is that there still seems to be a lot of baggage or a lot of fear or a lot of emotion connected to a previous relationship that he was in before he met you. And I'm going to say I think that was a long time ago, but that still seems to be sort of affecting how he deals with allowing himself to get close to you. You know, it's like a real fear. It's like a real brick wall in the room, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, my only suggestion would be is trying to encourage him to communicate. And sometimes that is not easy when somebody doesn't know how to put things into words. But if we can encourage him to maybe put it down on paper, or say, do you listen to this song, or something like that. Look, I don't have any doubts that he loves you. I don't have any doubts that he wants to build a future with you. I just think he's like a frightened rabbit. He sort of gets there and he freezes. And, you know, he goes all rigid and gets all hot and bothered, and then sort of it's all too hard and we won't talk about it now. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we've got to try and take that pressure out of the situation. And sometimes it's hard for people like that because they get themselves so worked up that they just can't. And then they walk away from a perfectly good relationship because they feel such a failure. I don't want him to do that. I want him to sort of know that, let him know that you love him unconditionally, no matter what. There's nothing he can't say. There's nothing, you know, he's not going to look an idiot in your eyes. All that you want to do is to be able to sort of say, well, okay, we're definitely a couple. We're definitely building a future. Now let's slowly work towards that. And I think it may be sort of, you know, like if we don't put too much pressure on him and maybe do it by actions, you know, sort of like, it could be something simple as, you know, like if you start looking for somewhere new to live and say, gee, I'd love your input. And then sort of that might be a gentle way of sort of suggesting let's move in together. Do you know what I mean? Like without saying, well, I think it's high time we sort of set up moving in together. Sometimes if we do it in a more gentle way, we take that pressure out of the pressure cooker. And that's what I think we need to do here. He is a lovely, lovely, lovely man. And I want to be very clear. He is certainly not in love with that woman from the past at all. It's just that she hurt him so badly. And it was the first time, I think, ever in his whole entire life that he really opened up and allowed his, you know, all these barriers to come down. And then she sort of literally slammed it in his face and sort of, you know, it took him a long time to trust again after that. So please don't think that he doesn't trust you, because he does. He loves you and he wants to build a relationship with you. He's just terrified. So let's try and take some gentle baby sort of steps and, you know, just make him feel secure all the time. And I think then I'm sort of seeing March coming up as a major turning point in the relationship. So I'm not sure whether that means when you're going to move in together or something's changing around then for the better. And I see a lot of positive, happy hearts around that. I've also picked up a woman in spirit. Is that your grandmother?
Probably.
Was she a very stern sort of woman? She didn't sort of say a lot, but when she spoke, everybody took notice?
Yeah, well, I did. I love my grandma.
Yeah, well, she's there with me, and she's sort of she was showing me a bunch of pink roses, and she was showing it to me with the word March. So that's her way of telling you she loves you. But I think also she was trying to show to me that everything's right on track. You just ask her for help, and she'll help you get this relationship right. She likes him. She really likes him. So she's going to make it happen. So just keep talking to her, have a conversation with her before you go to sleep of a night, and tell her how your day's been, and tell her what's troubling you, and ask her to help. And, you know, she'll do her damnedest on the other side to help you. It's been lovely to speak with you today, Amanda, and I hope you have a great evening, sweetheart.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you, sweetie. We're going to move on to Laura in Saintfield in Northern Ireland. Are you there, Laura?
I am.
Lovely to speak with you, Laura. Do you have a question for me tonight?
Will my life improve anytime soon?
Okay. It's interesting because the first thing that they're showing to me, Laura, is in the last 3 or 4 months, there's been a series of endings coming up. It's like a series of doors that have been closing on you, but nothing has really sort of flown open to show you the new way forward yet. So I'm going to ask you to just be patient. There is definitely changes coming, but I'm not sure that they're coming much before the end of this year. It's sort of like, okay, we've just got to accept that this is my lot. Until the early part of next year, I'll just sort of put everything into cruise control and just cruise my way through to the end of the year, and then knowing that things are going to improve. Did you walk away from a relationship this year?
Sort of.
Well, they're showing me that's definitely closed off now. So is that you have completely let go of it in your mind, saying that's it, I'm completed, I'm done, I'm not going back there again?
No. They're not in the picture at the moment, but I would like them to be.
Yeah, but I don't see that relationship coming back towards you, sweetie. They were showing me it was complete. It was finished.
Okay.
And I think you have to sort of accept that, even though that may not be what you want, it is complete. And I think you've just got to sort of accept, look, I'm not saying that there may not be some communication with this person between now and the end of the year. I think there will be a couple of opportunities for that. But I feel it will be completely open to you then, that you'll see it in different eyes, that sort of like by going back and having another look, having a conversation, having dinner with them or something like that, you'll see, hang on a minute, this is not what I want anymore. I thought I did until I got this opportunity to be across the table from you. And now I see you as not so much as a completely different person, but it's like you now see them for who they truly are and what they represent. And you realise now this is not what you need from the position that you're coming from now. You've become a new, stronger person, and this person doesn't fit the new you. So it doesn't mean you're going to be without love. It just means that we need to tidy all the loose ends up that have been, and that's what 2018's been for you, has been tidying up a series of loose ends. And it's now time to sort of get ready to open things up for brand new opportunities that are going to come in 2019. And I don't think it's going to be terribly far into the new year before your new year really kicks off. You know, like in the first 2 weeks, I think we're starting to see the momentum starting to already kick off for you with new opportunities there. There is somebody, though, coming back from your past, and not this one that you're keen on at the moment. I'm going to go way back, somebody 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Was there someone that you didn't have, you were very keen on, but there wasn't the opportunity to explore where that could go?
I was with this person for 20 years.
Okay. But before this person you've been with for 20 years, was there somebody else way, way, way back that
no.
you had Well, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to disagree, because I've got a man coming into your life that, whether or not it was on his side and because you were in a serious committed relationship, he never told you about his feelings. They showed me between 5 and 10 years. So this person is going to reconnect with you. You may not have ever felt this way about them, but they certainly felt that about you. And it's going to take you a little bit by surprise. But I actually feel that this is a good opportunity, and I think this person could really bring you the type of happiness that you truly want. I know it's sad when a 20-year relationship comes to an end and there really is nothing more that we can do, that, we've come to the end of the line, and that takes a lot of adjustment. It's not something you can get up one day and say, oh, well, that's done and dusted. We had 20 years, but I'm over it, next. It doesn't happen quite that quickly. And it's not even a matter of, you've got to sort of get to that point where you say, well, okay, this is finished. It's just, you'll just have a series of realizations. And though I think you'll still remain friends, but I think the magic that was there once between you is just gone. It's like, oh, where did that go? Like it was there last week, and today it's sort of like you look at him as like your brother. And you think that's weird, but that's sometimes how things pan out, particularly when it's been a karmic relationship and the karma or the repayments that we had to make to karma are now complete. Then it's like the balance sheet's clear, there's nothing left. And it doesn't mean that, maybe this is what it's meant to be. We get to a point where we've got a friendship and we still respect each other, and, we'll still be a part of each other's lives, but we're not romantically linked anymore. And that's okay too, because, you want him to be happy, he wants you to be happy, and if you can't find happiness together, well, then that's a very adult way of looking at things, isn't it, of being able to move on and find new happiness. But if I can just jump back to where we're going back to in 2018, I've talked about the new man coming in, but I also felt that there was other changes coming up too, like a change in work or a change in position with the job that you're in. And I was also seeing changes to where you're living. So I'm not sure whether that's redecorating or whether that was sort of thinking of an actual move of residence, but there's a lot of question marks sitting around both of those issues that are yet to be decided. I don't necessarily want you to start sort of trying to make decisions yet. Yes, you can look at them, but don't necessarily make final decisions yet. You know, let everything take its own natural course of events and come towards you in the way that it needs to. But it's been lovely talking with you, Laura, and I hope you have a great night. So it's really exciting. We've come to the end of our very first show in a couple of minutes. Can I just sort of stick my nose in the USA's business and say to everybody, please go and vote. Here in Australia, we have to vote. It's compulsory. But I've been watching on CNN before the show this morning how that, the polls are open and they're asking everybody to vote. And I'm going to ask you to all vote, because if you really want to make change, change comes from your one little vote. And I think it's really important. So on next week's show, we'll certainly have the Simply Tarot card of the week. We'll have our candle of the week. We'll have our female Aries, famous actress, next week. And we'll also have our little glimpse around the universe. So I hope that you're enjoying what you're seeing here on A1R Psychic Radio on Moonstruck TV with our brand new time slot. And I am so excited because it's morning here in Australia and I'm a morning person, and it's just absolutely fabulous. And we just love you all here at A1R Psychic Radio. So tell all your friends and join in all the brand new shows that are coming your way. And we hope that you've enjoyed what we're bringing to you from all around the world. We have some very, very gifted psychics and healers and mediums on this show, and it's just absolutely amazing. So I really look forward to having you all join us again next week. And for those of you that might want to join me directly after this show, on my Amanda Hall Facebook page, I will be doing a live workshop on the new moon in Scorpio directly after this show finishes. So I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to working with you all again next week. Bye for now.